right, hello students. So before I introduce myself personally, I want to first introduce you to our Canvas page and to the course policies because this Canvas page is going to be an important part of the course. You're going to be interacting with it all the time, especially in these first few weeks while we're virtual. So I just want to give you guys a sense of how that's going to work before I actually introduce myself here. So if you log on to Canvas, this is the first page that you see. This is just a nice little organization where each of these tiles will take you to a certain portion of the modules page. So if you're using a mobile version, you actually won't see this home page. You'll just have a menu bar like this on the side. So again, if I click the course introduction, it will just take me to the course introduction module. So you can get there by going to modules as well. And so I want you guys to just start by starting on the first page here. This just tells you real quick how you're going to move through this course using these next buttons. The reason that that's nice is because that's just a guaranteed way to not miss anything. A lot of students have a tendency to just go to the assignments page. The problem is that you're going to miss all the pages that have videos or text of instructions or all that sort of stuff. So I highly recommend you get in the habit of interacting with our Canvas course through the modules button, not just through your assignments tab. I mean, the assignments tab is great for keeping track of what you have to do, but again, you're going to miss the lecture that corresponds to a given assignment if you're only looking at the assignments page. The next thing to note is that, again, I'm sure you all are aware that for the first, till the end of January, for the first few weeks here, we're going to be meeting virtually. This first week is just this asynchronous course introduction. After this point, we'll be meeting during our normal class time on Zoom to get ourselves some chemistry lectures, right? To actually get the course content delivered. We'll be meeting during our normal time, which is 8 a.m. to 8:50 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the Zoom link is below. After that, starting on February 1st, we'll begin to meet in person, and that is in the Science 2 building, room 108. Just note that when we do meet virtually, I'm expecting everybody to be there with their cameras turned on. In the past, I've had students who have tried to go to, take a shift at work or be driving somewhere or something like that. We're in class. I'm expecting you to be paying attention, be dedicated to the material, be in a position to take notes, not be trying to multitask. That's a great way to not get anything out of the course, is by having your attention divided with some other task, okay? I know it's tempting to pick up a shift or something like that because it seems like you have the time, but you've dedicated this 8 to 8:50 a.m. block to this course, and so I expect your undivided attention. Okay, so this would have been the page where you have the video. The video's not there yet, obviously, because I'm making it. But again, the purpose of this video will be to introduce you to the course page, to our Canvas page, as well as we'll be going through the syllabus. Okay, the other thing I want you to do real quick is take a second, pause this video, and follow these instructions to turn on submission comment notifications. This way, if you submit an assignment and there's something wrong with it, I can leave a comment like, hey, you forgot to turn in page 2 or something like that, and you'll actually get that comment sent to your inbox. If not, you won't be alerted that there was a comment, and so you're going to miss anything that I say. Okay, and now let's turn our attention to the syllabus. You can download the syllabus here, and you will get this document right here. Okay, so let's just go through this together. I want to point out some important things. Again, my name is Dr. Corsepius. I grew up on the East Coast. I got my degree from the University of Maryland before moving out to California. We are in Chem 8, so this is the 1-semester organic chemistry course. I've taught organic chemistry many times before, but this is my first time teaching the 1-semester course. So I look forward to it. It's a really interesting subject. It can be tough, but it's also really rewarding because we talk about a lot of different reactions that occur, and of course these are organic compounds, so they're the compounds that are actually relevant to life on Earth. You can always reach me at my email address here or through Canvas. Either way works for me. Again, our meeting time is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m. to 8:50. Okay. My office hours, I'll explain a little bit more about this when we go back to the Canvas page. There'll be Monday from 5:30 to 7:30. Those will be virtual. And then Friday from 10 to 11 a.m. Those will be in person. The in-person ones won't start until we're actually back on campus. So until then, I'm just going to add an extra hour to my virtual office hours. So, first of all this boilerplate COVID-19 stuff, obviously that's the reason that we're online, is because we're in the middle of a pretty big COVID surge here. Make sure you familiarize yourself with the COVID policies of the university. I mean, if you're in this class, then you have met all those guidelines. I don't have to be the vaccine police or anything like that. Once we do return to Canvas, you will be completing these daily health screenings, which are on your phone. So basically, when you walk in, you'll show me this little green check mark that says that you're not feeling any symptoms, or not COVID positive, all that sort of stuff. Okay. And then in terms of safety measures, as has been the case for a few semesters now, face coverings will be required on campus, whether or not you're vaccinated. So make sure that you have those, mask up basically. Okay. So again, this is the 1 semester organic chemistry course. Not open to chemistry majors, but nonetheless, it's that same sort of organic chemistry material, just kind of condensed into 1 semester here. If you're here, then you have met our prereqs, so that's great. And you want to get your hands on the Organic Chemistry, a short course by heart. This is our textbook that we're going to be using. Okay. So in terms of our learning objectives, you can read the course goals here. It's pretty straightforward. Taking a look at our learning objectives, we're going to be the first thing we're going to learn is really how to draw these organic molecules. We're going to be predicting the hybridization of carbon atoms in organic compounds, and also really cool, predict acidities and pKa values. So we're talking about acids a little bit more in depthly than you would have in your previous courses. We're going to talk a lot about functional groups, being able to identify the functional groups in organic molecules, which correspond to these like structural features that we're going to be talking about. So a lot of this course is going to be looking at structures of molecules and being able to draw information from those structures. Okay. The very first skill I'm going to teach you is how to correctly draw organic compounds. There's obviously not literal infinite amount, but a huge number of them, right? So we have these rules as to how we properly connect atoms, that as long as you follow those rules, it won't steer you wrong. You probably talked a little bit about resonance in your previous class. We're going to go a little bit more in depth with that and actually show how electrons are moving. We have this electron pushing arrows that we draw for organic compounds, and they show the flow of electrons. I always think that that's a pretty cool part of the course. And then, of course, reactions. So generally speaking, I'm going to show you a type of organic compound, what we call a functional group. We're going to learn about that functional group. We're going to learn how to name it, and we're going to learn the reactions of those functional groups. And for some of those reactions, we're going to even go so far as to draw what are called mechanisms, where we show how electrons are moving during those reactions. Okay, so in terms of the assignments for this course, so each week, and actually let me just show you an example here. Okay, so first of all, again, from our homepage here, the only thing you had to worry about for right now for this weekend would be this course introduction. Starting next week, we'll move on to chapter 1. After that, chapter 2, etc., etc. So let me just show you chapter 1 real quick to give you a sense of what's going on. So here is our chapter 1 module. You can see first there's just this brief little introduction that will have a link to the lecture slides that I use. And then the actual lecture is broken down by topic. I'm going to record my lecture videos and post them on these pages here, right? So when I talk about bonding in organic chemistry, I'll post that video here after I give that lecture. Same thing with formal charges. I'll post that lecture here. Bond line structures, and we'll talk about what all this stuff is as I do those lectures. Notice that each of these lectures has a quiz that accompanies it. It'll be a quiz or some sort of an assignment that accompanies those lectures. These are what I call your lecture assignments. They are really there to give you the practice and show you what kind of problems I expect you to be able to do from the content that we just learned. These will be assignments where you have like an infinite number of attempts to do them. So, they're really just there for practice, practice, practice to make sure that you guys understand what my expectations are after a lecture. Okay? The sum total of all of these for a given week will be 10 points. Okay, these are the easiest points in the course to get because, again, you have an infinite number of attempts on these quizzes. Basically, these are the ones that you just, as long as you put in the work, you'll definitely get. At the end of each chapter, we will have an OWL homework assignment. I will go over how to sign up for OWL next week. I'm still waiting for my account to be verified as an instructor. It's been kind of a little bit of a hiccup, but nonetheless, whatever. I'll go over that in lecture, how we go about signing up for our OWL homework. But at the end of each chapter, there will be a summative assignment that, I see a typo here. Summative assignment that will just basically review the content of that chapter. Okay. Starting not next week because we won't have learned anything, but on week 3, we will be having weekly quizzes. Okay. The point of the quiz will test you on the previous week's material. The idea is how the course is built is, again, you have these lecture assignments that are the easiest points to get, right? As long as you put in the work, you're going to get them because you have an infinite number of attempts. Then you're going to have these weekly quizzes. These are a little bit more difficult, but the whole idea of the weekly quiz is to demonstrate whether or not you actually know the material that you're supposed to know from the previous week, whether you actually retained that information from those lecture assignments, right? I'm going to make my expectations very clear. You're going to hear me say this a bunch. This course is plenty hard without me being tricky. So I will make my expectations incredibly clear, and then it's just you guys making sure you actually understand how to do those types of problems. So the weekly quizzes are when we put that to action and see, do you actually understand how to do those particular problems that were in the previous week's lecture assignments. Okay? And the whole idea is it's sort of a low stakes environment. It's not worth quite as many points as it will be when we get to the exam, right? Which is worth 100 points. So now is like the really do or die time, making sure you're going to have to demonstrate to me that you understand this material. Okay, so again, the kind of structure is you got the easy points, which are the lecture assignments, slightly harder points, the weekly quizzes, and then finally those exams, which is when it really counts. That's where the big points are. Okay. The quizzes and exams, these are in-class assignments. I think our first weekly quiz, just because we're going to be virtual, will be a virtual assignment, but nonetheless will be held during class time. These are not things you can do whenever you want. You're going to need to do them during our normal class time. If you have an excused absence, then they're going to have to be made up in the testing center in some sort of a proctored environment. I'm not just going to hand them over and allow you guys to do them whenever you want. They have to be done in a proctored environment. And then at the end of the semester, we will have our final exam, which will be a cumulative for all the different material that we covered in the course. How that's going to break down approximately is 12.5% lecture assignments, 10% OWL homework, a quarter of the course will be those weekly quizzes, about 30% is the exams, and then about 10% is the final exam. This is an approximate breakdown, and the reason why these numbers are so weird is because I don't lock a category into place. I'm not going to say it's exactly 25% weekly quizzes. You can do that in Canvas, but I don't like to do that because I like points to be points in my class. So a point on a lecture assignment is the same as a point on an exam, is the same as a point on a weekly quiz. If you locked these categories in place, all of a sudden exam points aren't worth the same as homework points, and I just think that's a little bit more confusing for students. So points are points in my class, which is why these percentages look kind of weird. They're not nice whole round numbers. Grading policy, 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 a B, 70 to 79 a C, etc., etc. And please note that I will be rounding to the ones place. One myth I think that students have is this sense that like at the end of the semester I'm going to decide that, I think this person deserves this grade. It doesn't really work like that. This is a points game, right? You'll be able to see your grade in Canvas, in our Canvas gradebook. And the whole idea is there are a certain number of points offered in the course. You were awarded this many points. That's how I calculate your grade. Okay, it's a numbers game at the end of the semester. I'm not going to have my personal feelings inserted in there. It's all about the points that you were awarded. And I'm going to round to the ones place. So how that works means if you have an 89.5, that will round up to a 90. An 89.4 does not round up. Okay, that will round down to an 89. And again, this is a numbers game. I'm not going to play any funny math at the end of the semester to give you the grade that you want. You can note the times of our exams here. Again, we'll have weekly quizzes. The lecture assignments will be weekly, and the OWL homework is 1 per chapter. Here is our final exam date and time that is set by the university. Obviously, we're a little bit away from that, so we'll talk a little bit more about it as we go on here. Course policies, you can read through this. The bottom line is that organic chemistry is a challenging course. It just is. Chemistry in general is a challenging course, right? Really, the kiss of death in any chemistry course is falling behind, checking out for a week, and then expecting to just cram it all in at the end. That is really, really hard to do. The way that I've designed the course with the lecture assignments, with the weekly quizzes, is to try to keep you on pace. You'll probably hear me say a lot that these courses are going to be a marathon, not a sprint. And what do you do in a marathon? You try to keep a good pace as you're going. And so that's what we're going to try to do. We do not want to fall behind. Otherwise, it's going to be really important. Sorry, my cat's having a chillax. Okay. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to catch back up. Okay. A terrible approach to this and every other college course is to just kind of fake it for a few weeks and then try to cram everything in a 10-hour study session. Do your best to pace yourself as we go. Late work and makeup policies, basically anything on Canvas, all those online assignments, you'll automatically get a 10% penalty per day for every day that the assignment's late. I always get these messages at 11:55 p.m. before an assignment's due that's like, oh, my internet went out. Can I get an extension? No, should have done it earlier. You can turn it in a day late. You'll just get hit with a 10% penalty. Okay. This is just something that's automatically going to happen when an assignment is late. So that's why we don't want to wait until the last minute, because then something can come up and we'll have to turn our assignment in late. That said, 90% of the points is still the vast majority of the points. If you're turning in a few assignments a day or two late, it's really not going to have a huge effect on your grade. What you don't want to do is not turn it in at all. A 0 in my grade book is much worse than, a 90% of the points in my grade book. Okay. So things can be turned in late. You're going to automatically hit this late penalty of 10% per day. The exception to that is the OWL online homework. I don't know the OWL system, but many of these online homework systems don't have a feature that allow you to turn it in late. So I'm just anticipating that OWL doesn't have that feature. So that's why I'm going to say that the OWL assignments cannot be turned in late. Any in-person assignments, kind of like what I was saying before, any in-person assignments you're going to have to make up in the testing center. There's under no circumstance will an in-person exam be administered online. Okay, all in-person assignments have to be proctored, and so that can happen at the testing center. All right, and then here's some helpful links with other information about university policies. Cheating, plagiarism, don't do it. Basically, y'all are adults. I don't want to have to deal with that. It's really annoying. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a pain in my ass. Please don't. Disruptive classroom behavior. I'm not anticipating we're going to have a problem with this, so let's just not. And then importantly, all of this information in the syllabus is sort of subject to change at my discretion. Basically, what could potentially happen is I could add an assignment or take an assignment away, and that would slightly change the point distribution. Here's a rough schedule, and actually, this is one that I have to put into my syllabus. Really, when you're looking for the schedule, you want to go up to our schedule that's built into Canvas. This is the one that will be updated. If I fall behind on a topic or go a little bit more quickly through a topic, I will update the schedule here. Again, this is my first time teaching the first semester course, so I have a sense of what I'll be teaching when, but in my experience, you don't really know until it goes down. This schedule could be updated as we go here. Okay, the sign up for Owl thing, again, this one is the only page that I haven't launched yet because, again, I'm still waiting for them to verify my account. So this is an assignment that you won't have to worry about until next week. Your job for this weekend is going to be to do this syllabus quiz on the information that we just discussed in the syllabus, as well as just general course policy, and then introduce yourself in this personal introduction. This is where I'll do my personal introduction, where you'll actually get a sense of me as a person, not just the Canvas person. And yeah, so I would like to also get a sense of all of you guys. So, yes. Welcome to the Chem 8 course, and I look forward to this semester. Organic chemistry is a lot of fun. It is challenging, but it's really, really cool at the same time. So I look forward to meeting all of you.